start our afternoon session. So first I would like to introduce our speaker, Mr. Fortune Hui, and then Mr. Fortune Hui is a solution architect at Amazon Web Service, and he specialized in data analytics, designing serverless data platform, data warehouse, text analytic platform, and etc. So prior to he joining AWS, he engineered data pipelines in various industries, including retail, aviation, and insurance. And then I think everyone can now see that he's going to introduce to us accelerate data preparation with Pandas and AWS Glue DataBrew. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Fortune Hui.
Okay, thank you very much. So hi everyone, I'm Fortune Hui. I'm a Pandas Solutions Architect specialized in analytics in AWS. So today I'm going to share something about data preparation with Pandas. I know you guys are all Python developers and Python lovers. You should be very familiar with Pandas. And so besides that, I'll also talk about DataBrew, which basically is a visual data preparation tool. Before I start the session today, can I ask a question to the audience? How many of you have used AWS for whatever reason? Maybe, can you raise your hand, please? Wow, happy to know that, majority. So how many of you have been in the field of data science or data engineer in any services, like not only in AWS? Please raise your hand. Okay, so I can see a few of you are. So I hope I can bring you something new to share with you something about data, machine learning, like the analytics side and the ML side of the stuff. Okay. So as for what to expect from this section, I will be sharing a little bit on AWS and machine learning. And then I will share with you data preparation and how Pandas, we released a SDK for Pandas that could get connected to our AWS data services. And finally, I will talk about Glue DataBrew, as I just mentioned. Okay, so a little bit about Amazon. At Amazon, we have a very long history of machine learning and driving innovation with machine learning. ML is an integral part of Amazon. We have been applying ML in areas such as personalization and supply chain for more than 20 years. We have also improved our original personalization model and significantly over time and move it to other products like Amazon Prime. We also use ML for our fulfillment process, including developing a forecast system that can predict the appropriate amount of demand for each product we sell worldwide to deliver on customer expectations of convenience, cost, and delivery speed. And we have developed some NLP, natural language processing technology, to give our customers an entirely new way of interacting with technology through Alexa. That's the blue appliance like here. And we have also developed a groundbreaking technology such as autonomous flight through Prime Air, drones, and robotics in our fulfillment center to get packages to our customers faster. So almost every department at Amazon has been touched by machine learning. So apart from cloud computing, we are also bringing our machine learning experience to our customers. So a little bit about AWS. AWS, Amazon Web Services, is a vendor of choice for over 100,000 customers and a leader in offering the broadest, deepest compute infrastructure of AI ML training and inference. You can choose from a range of Amazon EC2 instances based on the latest CPUs, GPUs, and custom accelerators, coupled with industry-leading networking and storage to meet your budget needs and the performance requirements of your models. And AWS is investing and innovating to deliver a range of high performance and low-cost infrastructure options, so you can choose the option to fit your need. So some example, AWS is building silicon from the ground up that is optimized for ML inference performance. So I'm talking about deploying the model. And we have used our learning from our Graviton CPU and Nitro system innovations to build the AWS Inferential chip. So basically, it's a custom chip that delivers the lowest cost in inference in the cloud. So besides that, we also have released our Trainium chips that is optimized for ML training, and we offer EC2 instance that make use of that training chips. So basically, high performance, low cost, easy to use infrastructure services to train and deploy ML and deep learning models. So I'm gonna share a little bit from a perspective what machine learning is. So we actually have a machine learning white paper talking about our view and our perspective in machine learning. So basically, the life cycle, it starts with business goal. So after we talk to our customer, we understand the business problem and identify the business goal, data scientists try to frame that problem into an ML problem. So whether it's a regression or classification problem, or maybe a deep learning neural networks required. And then we start looking at the data. We collect the data, process the data, we do feature engineering, and then after we extract the features we want, we start building, training, tuning, evaluating the model. Like after the model's ready, we get confirmation with our users, and we deploy it to the production environment and keep monitor so that the model is retrained regularly to keep the performance. But then throughout various steps in the ML cycle, according to a Forbes study, like 80% of time of data scientists is spent on data preparation. I think, I'm not sure whether you guys echo. I mean, I was a data engineer helping data scientists, and I fully understand because that's my job. Like I made living from that job, and I can really see why, because like data sources is scattered everywhere. Like to get the right data, there's logistic effort. You have to identify the right system, and not only system, you have to identify the right owner. Throughout the corporate, the responsibilities also scatters with the system, and then you need to do some paperwork for applying access and ground permissions, and you need to sort out something about the networking. You have to connect to the data source to download the data, and there's a technical effort that you need to find the right API and SDK to really download the data, to play with the data. And then there's an analysis and engineering effort, like you have to study the data deck. The data dictionary may not be accurate, may not be up to date. And you have to do the profiling for all the 2,036 columns. And then after all the effort, you found there are so many cells that have no value, and you have to cleanse it. That's a lot of work. I understand that. But however, like data is the key. Garbage in, garbage out, we all know that. So I think that's why we're willing to spend so much time on data preparation. But I think as a developer, as a data engineer and data scientist, we hope there's something that could help us leave this tedious effort. And speaking from a data engineer and the ETL developer perspective, I can say that data preparation is actually required for different persona. Like not only data engineering need to do data preparation. Like if you're a data analyst, you may need to develop different kinds of dashboard, and you may have your specific need. You need the data aggregated in your own granularity, and maybe sometimes you need to do some joining, so you have to unify data from different data sources, some in different kinds of databases, and you have to prepare your own data model, so it serves your dashboard's performance requirement as well. And then for data scientists, it's a tougher question, because often a time when we are inputting data in a model, you need some types of data science specific preparation, like you have to do some one-line coding to turn the category value into numbers, into bits, so that the machine model reads it well. Maybe for some value data, you need to normalize it, put it in a scale, so that Yeah, and that's a requirement of training a model. So basically, every role needs to do data preparation, and yeah, that requires quite an effort, and to fulfill different analytic needs. And so what does AWS has in here is, first of all, we offer a purpose-built data sources and analytics service that best suits the transactional and analytics use case. So first of all, graph databases, they work well for storing and navigate relationship. It's basically for connected data. So it's perfect for customer 360, for fraud detection, and some whatever use case you need to navigate through the relationship, you can make good use of a graph database. And for text search, or maybe sometimes you need to do analysis on log files. Yeah, you need to you could make use of open source services that put the text in inverted index, like called Lucene. So it speeds up the text search. So it's good for operational analysis and SIEM. Time series data, obviously, for time stream database, it's good for predicting some financial trends and monitor healthiness of applications. Structured data, I guess you guys are really familiar with that. I won't go deep. So for DynamoDB, it's very popular kind of DB that stores, like game dashboard, some web app, very common in modern web application. And of course, unstructured data like audio, like video, you store it like in the data lake. So these right to accelerate data analysis. Like you can answer questions like which person are related to the people who is interested in a particular product. So these are questions is easily answered by navigating through the connected data structure in a graph database. But if data is stored in a SQL database, then you need to join the same table for several times to write very long queries. That might not be the most efficient way to find answers in those data sources. But we are Python writers, right? We're developers. So our tool, the data community loves Python and Pandas. So we use PyCharm, we use JupyterLab as an IDE, and with the Python language, there are various libraries that we are very familiar with. Scikit-learn, Seaborn for the graph, NumPy for numerical calculations. So what we have to do to get data from these data sources, write a script, find the API, find the SDK, and different kinds of database. It might require some development effort. So before you even start your analysis, you have so much effort to get the file into your local environment. Not to say you have to worry about the storage, because although memory is cheap, your laptop has limited storage. So it takes time, it takes effort. So AWS is an advocate for open source, and we understand this requirement. And therefore, we develop a SDK for Pandas to connect to these AWS services. So for AWS SDK for Pandas, it's an open source Python package. So it's built on Pandas, Apache Arrow, and Bottle3. So Bottle3 is a Python SDK for accessing our services, but we abstractize this layer so that with a few functions, you can easily connect to our data sources and execute usual ETL tasks. You can directly load this data from our data service to the data frame, and then you start to use the libraries that you're familiar and start your analysis and engineering. So it integrates with almost all our data-related services. Like just now, I mentioned some of the types, say GraphDB, TimeStream, some relational database. Some of the things that are worth mentioning is Athena. So this is our interactive query service. So basically, with that, you can offload some of the calculation effort to Athena. It helps you filter data on S3, return result that you need to your data frame to offload some loading from your computer's memory. And then it supports connecting to Postgres, MySQL, SQL Server, this kind of generic database as well. So basically, it saves effort for connecting to this data source. So everything starts from the data frame. So how do we use it? So if you are using AWS Lambda, you just need to create a managed layer, just an execution environment. We have a managed layer in here, which you can use. And if you are using our serverless ETL tool called Glue, then you just include the Python real, the library real file in the S3 library path. And if you're using our big data managed Hadoop ecosystem service EMR, you could add a Bootstrap script before you provision the EMR server to just do a PIP install. So I think for the most, for idea that you guys are most familiar, like on-premises or local environment, you could just use PIP and use Conda to install the package, and then you can start using the service. So just a highlight of the function and feature highlights. It basically can read and write data on our S3 bucket. So it's low cost and performant data like storage, object storage. There are also some functions that you can merge and upsert your database in Parquet format. It can also directly connect to open source service if you guys are familiar with Elasticstack or OpenSearch, often if you read data from OpenSearch, you need to write DSL. So basically, it's another syntax, but then it supports SQL query to reach OpenSearch. And then some interesting thing is you could also get to our CloudWatch log. So basically, CloudWatch log is a AWS service that you could keep all your server logs and the service log for your analysis, and you could directly connect to CloudWatch log and load the data in a Pandas and start analyzing as well. So I just mentioned some of the features, cover some of the features here. You could also feel free to go to our wiki and official documentation for more different the full set of features. So this is the first part, connecting to the database. So what's the second part? The second part is to actually go deep into the data set, to profile it and cleanse it. And then the next step, we have to orchestrate in scale, because often we are not dealing with just one or two data sets. We may be dealing with like one or two databases, and each have like 50 tables. You have to repeat your profiling work many times, and you have to schedule it, make it regular, deploy in production. Python works, but sometimes, again, it takes effort to perform these tasks like repeatedly. So you need heavy lifting. So I would like to introduce AWS Glue DataBrew, which basically visual data preparation tool that help clean and normalize the data up to 80% faster. So as you can see, there's a nice graphical user interface for you to do your own data preparation. So it generates data profile for you for each of the say string column. It gives you a distribution. It tells you correlation of the features. It provides some special functions for you to remove outliers. And some feature engineering functions say it has built-in transformation. It has around 250 built-in transformation where you can do one hot encoding, where you can do normalization, etc. and etc. And it also supports Jupyter Notebook, so you can use it within our Jupyter Lab. So there's a plugin you can install, then you can use the tool without leaving your environment. So I think these 4 points, it wraps up the features of DataBrew. So it helps you understand the pattern and of your data set. It runs automate tests, and then you can schedule it to run regularly when your updates of data set arrives. It has built-in transformation for usual tasks, and also it helps automate this like using our other scheduling function. So I would like to share with you some of the popular use case for how to use DataBrew. So this is architecture where we recommend our customer when they need to set up data quality rules. So basically, when data arrives at S3, we can set up data quality rule in DataBrew. If anything happens, it sends a notification to with our SNS service. It sends you an email to notify you. So. And another common use case is you can do data preprocessing for machine learning. So basically, when data arrives, we can sense an event and trigger a DataBrew ETL job. After it finishes loading, it writes into output bucket where the data could be fit in our Jupyter environment for model training automatically in SageMaker. So I think I'll have a demo for you guys to see the SDK and the DataBrew. Okay, so basically I'll be using a SageMaker Studio notebook environment. So this is a one-click environment where it provisions a Jupyter Lab-like IDE here. So you can use different kind of cluster and instance. I'm using a ML large instance, and you can use these GPU environment as well. So it comes with a specific price list. You pay so you pay on your own demand, and also you can select different kernels like execution environment. Say now I'm using a data science image, and you could select like base image using MXNet and some other built-in framework support like PyTorch and TensorFlow, and you can also use Spark as well. It supports PySpark and Scala Spark. And you can also bring your own container image as well, but I believe that should be quite enough for usage. So, and also when you could just navigate the folder structure like you use in PyLab. You can connect this environment to a GitHub environment to do some version control. And then you could also, this is the other component of the SageMaker. And also you can install plugins here. Yeah, say in the plugins, this is the DataBrew plugin I'm talking about, so we'll share later. So we can start navigating in the library itself. So basically, one line PIP installation will be fine. Then we can try execute and see the version. And at this time, we will be using an Amazon customer review data for tests. So with this command, like this is list directories, we can check our data lake path. So the dataset offers Parquet format and TSV format. We'll be using Parquet format this time. And then we can go ahead and have a look at the folder inside. So it's already partitioned by different product category. So today we'll be using a baby data, baby products as an example. So we can use this size object command to see the around 490 megabytes data. So we can go ahead and execute this command and read the data into our data frame. So after this one line execution, it will take some time because after all, it's a medium-sized data set. So so this is the data frame I guess you guys will be very familiar with. It has the marketplace, so where the product is host on, it has customer review and product ID. It also has some product title, ratings, votes, and also some review body and review dates. So basically, this data set is free of charge. It's online, so you can also use it to test it if you want. So I think the rest you guys are familiar, just some ordinary Pandas data preparation steps. You can check the columns, check the shape of the records. You have around 1.7 million records with 15 columns. You can also check the number of unique values of each field. Yeah, you can see there's some duplicates here as your review ID is different from the number of records. I've done some profiling, so I can drop duplicates using Pandas command. Yeah, and then I can also check the dimension. This is a common operation, so we know the data comes from these 5 marketplaces from Europe to US and Japan, and it has different years of data. And also null field, our enemy, we know we can check that using this isNull command, and then we can go ahead and check some basic statistics of numerical columns. Yeah, and then after that, Pandas, also we can use some other libraries to check, the correlations of different features, and we can easily visualize it using Seaborn library, like this. So as you can see, with this SDK, you load the data in data frame, and you can reuse every libraries you have been using, and start quickly to deal with our data sources. So the next thing I want to demonstrate is what next. So say, for example, you have already finished your data cleansing, and you need to write it to output bucket. So I think one of the good points of this SDK is with one command, you can output the data into the object storage and register it as a table in our Glue data catalog. So I think I will spend a little time to explain what is Glue data catalog. So basically, it's a technical data catalog where you can register your data set in your object storage. So that you can easily reuse it without remembering the path and metadata and schema. So I will go ahead and just create the bucket and the data catalog database first. And I've already created, so I'll just skip it. Okay, so the Glue data catalog, it looks like this. So it consists of logical databases to hold different tables. This is the table I register. This table, Amazon product review package, points to this S3 location. And inside the data set, you can see there are the path, there is input format and output format, which is using package. And then it automatically registers the schema, like different column names and types, and also the partition. So this is a schema. So basically, it's the same as what we see just now. And then you can see you also register the partition by product category. So all the data metadata is registered in the Glue data catalog. And the next time we want to connect to this data set, we just connect to the table. So we go ahead and execute a command to output the data to S3 bucket and also the catalog. So as you can see, there are several parameters you can choose. Say you can assign partition column. You could assign the compression, like this is a snappy format. And then you can also set this concurrent partitioning, where it triggers a parallel job so that you can write your partition in several threads. It speeds up the operation. And also you can specify which Glue database and which table, the name you want to register a table in. And then after writing, you can use this catalog table function to display the schema of the table, okay? So after writing, we could also have a look at the S3 directory. So it looks like this. So basically, it follows a high metadata partition format. And then this file line of code, it demonstrates how you could easily read the table from Glue data catalog. It takes some time because the data is quite large. But then if you are using Athena, which is our query service, you can enjoy some predicate push down, where the Athena will grab the data in S3 for you, finish the calculation result, and then it returns only the result to the data frame. So you can see the time is much quicker, it's 3 seconds, because yeah, Athena does some of the effort for you. Okay, so this is basically the demonstration for the Python SDK for Pandas that you guys are free to explore. Okay, and I think I will just quickly jump to some snapshot of the Glue DataBrew. So it's something like this. So basically, after one click, you import your data set, then it gives you automatic data profile. It shows you, for example, the string column. It gives you the distribution for each of the values, and it tells you some, it tells you some basic statistic. Oops. Yeah, and for transformation, you can also enjoy some of the built-in features. I think I will just highlight. I'll highlight this. Say if you have a category column and you want to do a one-hot encode, you can just do a one-click, and then Glue DataBrew help you generate this column. So it without a line of code. And also for some general operation like data type change, and also say for example some splitting with a delimiter. This is also available as well. So I would say it's quite handy. So it saves effort. Like especially you imagine you have like more than one data set. You have so many data sets, and you can also automate it using code. So it helps work on that for you as well. Okay, because due to the time limit, I won't be sharing the whole sharing on DataBrew. I want to wrap up this session with some cloud. So if you want to try the SDK, you could go online and search the name, SDK for Pandas. And just now, the SageMaker Studio environment, we have a SageMaker Studio Lab IDE, which is similar, that you can go on top. So it offers you 15 gigabytes free of charge for storage, and around 15 CPU, 15 hours of CPU and 4 hours of free GPU environment. Okay, so you can experience or have a try of SageMaker Studio. And also, we are hiring. We are hiring associate solutions architect. So this role is for graduate 2023. We welcome full-time bachelor degree fresh graduate in 2023. So if you're interested, please go ahead, scan this QR code, go to the website, see the details. So hope you guys have enjoyed the sharing today. Thank you very much for your time, and have a nice afternoon. Thank you.
Anyone would like to ask some questions? Anyone? Say hello.
Hello.
Thank you for your presentation. I would like to ask about the DataBrew. Do you have any visualization tools, such as if, for example, I'm doing a linear regression, and do you have visualizing the data so that I can find out the outliers, and then I can remove the outliers of the data? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. DataBrew is for data preparation, so it's a visual tool. You can do ETL, so transform your data set. If you are if you want to perform like linear regression and you want to visualize the result, there are two ways you can go. First of all, SageMaker Studio, you could use Seaborn to visualize. So this is the cheaper way. And as in SageMaker, we also have built-in function. We have something called a data wrangler. It's another data preparation tool for ETL. So it has built-in function for doing a few checking. Say for example, the linear regression, we have bias check to see which column whether it's skewed, and also several quick model building capability. So I would say it's not in DataBrew, but SageMaker does offer different features for what you want.
Okay, one more question. Anyone would like to ask? Okay, so if there's no question, I would like everyone to give a applause for Fortune Home.
Thank you.
Thank you.